let me tell you a little bit about making Guitar Kungfu, the actual song. This time around with Guitar Kungfu, I didn't want to rush it at all. I gave it the time it deserved, and I felt that this is gonna be something totally different for me, something very special. And from the first state of starting to build up this song, I had these actual images and visions in my head about the forest and battle between good and bad. And slowly these small fragments and ideas started to gather into a big piece of music. And I knew that this is gonna be something truly epic. So I gave it more time than I usually do. The overall process making Guitar Kungfu took me close to 1 year. There was of course some periods when I felt that I need to give it some time and I don't want to force it. So I just let it be for a few weeks and then the inspiration again hit me and I could continue to work with the song. So here I have the actual Logic project of Guitar Kungfu. I ended up having like 119 tracks in this song. Here is my intro. I had probably like 1 month when I built this intro here. It has this atmospheric sounds, and I created this soundtrack for Forest Walk. Here I'm introducing the main melody, which is basically the chorus of the song. I have here lots of classical orchestral instruments, violins, lute, erhu, which is a traditional Chinese violin. Then I have of course some dragon sounds. Actually this song also has lyrics. They are pretty well hidden in here, but I can secretly play them for you. Also I felt that since the original idea came from pictures in my mind, so I started to realize that this song had a strong story and it will need to have a music video to back up this story. The story is this guy is walking in a forest and he finds this mystical necklace right here, and he puts it on, and basically he's starting to have this battle between good and evil in his head. It's kind of yin and yang. They are fighting and trying to find balance. It's like fire and water, night and day. So there is this heavy part which stands for the darkness side of the battle, and then we have the light part, or the water part, the good part, which is played by Tung Bui. And first they are kind of separately showing off each other, their strengths and their power. So the evilness happens in this dark forest with fire and threatening and scary stuff going on all around. And the light part, Mr. Tung Bui, he lives in this calm place which is probably a part of mind in our minds. So now I'm having the song almost ready. Now it's time to get it mastered. So I'm heading here to the Backstreets mastering studios to check out the Guitar Kungfu being mastered. This is exciting to hear it from super duper speakers with full volume. So let's see how it goes. So I'm here at the Backstreets studios, ready to take a listen at the first master of Guitar Kungfu. Let's have a look.
Alright, hello. I'm Ludvig Nylund, and we're sitting here in the Backstreets mastering studio, which is basically a small mastering studio in Helsinki, and I've been working with mastering for about 7 years maybe, since I started. And like everyone, you need to start somewhere, so I started basically at home in an extra room, and then I moved up from there. The clients have been basically anything from small indie artists to bigger Finnish artists to some international artists, and it's kind of what makes the studio and the music business fun today is that you get easier to get contacts from around the world and work internationally. I have people who have contacted me just by finding me on the internet from New York and Los Angeles and Germany, Italy, and that's what makes it interesting, that you don't only work with people that are close to you, but you also get to work with people around the world. At the same time, it gives the kind of diversity that you have people coming in as well. So like now working with Samuli is also fun. You could get people coming into the studio and you get to the dynamics from working in the same room with them. So it kind of gives a diversity to what you do day to day. And from my background, so I've had 2 different studios. This is the second studio that I'm renting here in Helsinki, and I've had also a great experience working with Finnish award-winning producer Jimmy Westerlund. Once a couple of years back, when he had his studio in Los Angeles, I had the opportunity to go over there. So I worked with him a winter as a recording engineer, and we had bands, basically bands from Finland, and collabs with American artists and working over there. I wasn't doing mastering at that time. I was more of a recording engineer, but it was a really educating experience, and also to see kind of not only the mixing and the songwriting part, but also how the business works in the city of Los Angeles, where basically most of the big record companies are situated, and also to get the contacts over there that in the future might maybe lead to something more, and also friends over there are working in the music business. It was a great experience. So the mastering process, it's what I like about it is it's the restrictions, or the frame that you're working within is so much smaller, and so much you're limited to, basically, depending on if you do a stem mastering or if you do a regular mastering of a stereo track, but you have so little room to move. But that's kind of what makes it inspiring when you have a track, basically everything is burnt into the same track. You don't have the opportunity to raise the fader on the drums or vocal bus, but instead you have to work with frequencies and the balance to get it where you want it to go, without really being able to just have every opportunity at your hands. In any case, it's also be the opposite, that the track comes in, or the mix comes in too bright, so you have to kind of dull it down a bit, or maybe work with the upper mid or lower high frequencies to get those kind of balanced. And also, of course, the bass is a lot of times, especially when working with indie artists and maybe unsigned bands and artists, they might have been mixing at home in a room without any acoustic treatment or anything, so you get kind of a lot of boom in the bass, so you have to work with the bass to get it down. And especially if we're looking at metal music, where you have a lot of energy in the low frequencies and a lot of stuff that's going on at the same time, so you have to kind of restrict it. Well, you want it to be punchy and you want it to have a full bass, you still don't want it to go over the top. And so, well, lifting the blanket off the speaker, yes, but at the same time you kind of have to see what the track needs. Sometimes it's about the blanket, so you have to raise the high frequencies. Sometimes you maybe more working with dulling it down or focusing on the bass and so on. And of course, then we got the loudness war, which might 10 years ago been horrible. Today, I think it depends a lot. If you work with metal, you still might be pushing loudness to the maximum, but at the same time, it kind of works for the genre and it kind of works for the style of music.
My name's Arash Sammander. I was born in Afghanistan, but I grew up most of my life in the small town/city of Smyrna, Delaware, in the United States. That's why I sound this way. And now I'm living in Finland, doing lots of stuff.
Yeah. I'm Björn. I was born in the exotic city of Espoo, in the country of Finland. It's in Northern Europe, if you didn't know.
Yeah. I just moved here in 2010. In my previous life, I was doing a lot of IT work and working in education field in schools and universities, and I have some engineering degrees, and I also have some art degrees. So it's kind of a nice combination having a technical and artistic mix. Then I moved to Finland. I got into the games industry, and I met Björn in university. We studied together. Now I'm working with Björn as well. We have some stuff we're doing on the side. I also do many different things. I teach as well, and I also do freelance work, and I'm a designer in different companies.
If I go through my past, then there's a lot of different things. I'm actually a programmer that's maybe my main skill, but I'm one of the founders of Rockway FI, which is a music school, and that's how also I met Samuli. And through that, of course, done a lot of filming because it's a video-based service. I actually studied in Arktinen Media Technology, where we also did a lot of filming, and worked for YLE for a while, doing all kinds of things for actually the news, like color correction and stuff like that. But since then, I even stream myself every week in front of camera, but I do game development, so.
We filmed in a forest, in an actual studio, actually in two forests.
Two forests.
Two forests, one during the day, one in the middle of the night while it's raining and cold and there's no light, and that was a crazy experience. I remember because I didn't want to get all the equipment wet, we had this large golf umbrella that I borrowed from my close friend, and we jammed it in the back of my shirt so that it would kind of be this little canopy while I was filming. So, and there was fire involved too, as you'll see in the video. So it was a really interesting experience. I've never had like that before. So
Arash approached me and was like, I need somebody to hold my keys because so that was the key grip, I guess, like just figuring out everything that needs to be done. Then the lighting for some of the scenes and stuff like that. Whatever needed to be fixing, that's where
and
I
it's
was.
nice to have somebody with you too, to just bounce ideas off or just feel comfortable that there's another person there. So if there is a problem, you're not trying to just tackle it alone. And you can't expect like the talent to help you here. I know you're in the video, help carry this and do all these things, even though Samuli of course did help, so that's an exception. But most of the time you can't expect the person you're filming to also get sweaty and dirty doing things. So they need to look good on the other side of the camera. It was very interesting because trying to film different, like for example, doing Kung Fu and trying to be super close to him and move around and try not to trip. I remember chasing after him in the forest scene to do these kind of running forest things, and there's these huge roots in the ground. And the first time we did the shot, I was like, okay, just you go ahead, I'll follow behind you. And I have this kind of rig attached to my body with a stabilizer and these big boots. And I'm like, okay, go ahead. And then he starts running and he's like, whew, and he just disappears. And I'm like trying to chase after him with all this equipment and jump over roots so that my foot doesn't get caught. So we had to do a lot of different tricks and stuff so that I don't get killed trying to film him because he was moving so fast. And then the flipping over Samuli part was interesting because we had to kind of create this platform for him to flip over, because actually I'm not saying that he couldn't, because I've seen some stuff where he can get high off the ground, but this one we had him on this platform that he had to flip off of and then land on the ground and dive roll out of, and then we had that cut into the scene. But that wasn't so easy, especially the way the
you have to
ceiling
consider
was.
safety.
Yeah, exactly.
All kinds of things.
So
You don't want to get someone hurt.
yeah, exactly. Or tongue hurt either. So
I was a small baby, 3 months old, when my family came to Finland from Vietnam. So ever since that, I've been living in Finland and become more like a Finnish than a Vietnamese. I'm a professional stuntman in Finland. I do stunt coordinating, fight coordinating in films, cinema, television, commercials, etc. And I started from parkour, and I started parkour scene with a couple friends like 15 years ago about, and that was kind of like my entry to the stunt scene. So the first stunts I did was related to parkour, but before parkour I had a background in martial arts, in karate mainly, and nowadays I use more that for my stunt work as a fight coordinator. I have a first dan black belt from Kokondo Karate. It's Seirenkai nowadays, and I got that black belt in year 2000. So it's been like 17 years ago since I got the black belt. And I stopped training actively karate like soon after that because of my studies. But because of my stunt work, I still have to uphold some level of martial arts, not only karate, but also different various martial arts to help me with designing fight choreographies. I have, like I said, for my stunt work, fight coordinating, so I have to actually study multiple martial arts to use the most appropriate fighting style within fight choreography, depending on the project I'm working on. So I have backgrounds in various Kung Fu styles, for example Wushu, and also Tai Chi, I've done that. And some level of Aikido, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, and also from the Western styles, Capoeira, and Krav Maga, and Defendo, for example, system as well. So what I lack currently is what I think for my style, but I don't have that much, is the Roman Catholic wrestling. That's kind of like cool. I think that will be a new kind of like renaissance in fight choreography. It's just like brutal, like some wrestling stuff, choreography wrestling. I think that will like, look pretty cool. This music video that we made with Samuli was really interesting because it's very melodic, very audio related. So my movements, my character is kind of like a bonus for the visual part. And we had the idea of having like black and white, and have kind of like a battle between them. And at the same time, it's very like metaphysical. We don't know what is reality, what is not reality, what is a dream world, etc. So for the character, that was really interesting for my part, even though it's like a short part, but still what it means to be a good guy and what it means to be a bad guy, and how can we fight, how can a Kung Fu Tai Chi guy fight against like a fast guitar player. That was also interesting, and I think this video hopefully kind of like shows a little bit of that rage and the fire. And overall, it was a really interesting, very different kind of approach. And of course, as a music video, we don't really need to have much of idea like a story. But if we have it, and if the audience can see it or understand it, I think that's that we've succeeded in our work.
My name is Samu Saukko, I'm 17 years old and I'm studying audiovisual communications in Oulu. I've done a lot of video productions for clients and for myself, and I've participated in 2 film festivals last year. Samuli asked if I would be interested working on his music video project. He told me more about it and I got very interested. This was a good opportunity to show my editing skills. My part of the project was to do the visual effects like the sparks, flares and dust particles and the color grading. Now it looks more epic and cinematic. I'm very happy how the video turned out and I think it looks very good.
Alrighty, let's check out the venue for today. Here's my stuff. Cool. Yeah, so I'm here today playing at the Culture House in Helsinki. It's the same venue as, for example, Jimi Hendrix, Amy Malmsteen, Steve Vai has performed. So I'm pretty stoked about this. Cheers! Mä luulen, että se on aika platisti sillä, kun jengi on tuolla keskellä.
Pitää katsoa, että se ei peitä valoja liian.
Niin.
Katsotaan.
Koska nyt on, niinku, tulee ääni tulee sitten niinku, ja se kuitenkin tulee. Tää on kyllä joku... Joo, mä tuon tuoda.
Näin.
Yes, rock'n'roll. Dansissa rock'n'roll.
tasolla ja korokkeella.
Tai sillä, että se, olisi niinku, se voi olla lattialla, mutta niinku, että se suuntaan ylöspäin vaan.
Ja sitten tähän vaan sähkö.
Joo.
Miten toi menee päälle?
Siinä on 2 switchiä.
Päin. Mä tiedän, että mä lähden, kun sä oot eka show.
Tasapuolet. Ja mä oon...
Et kuka antaa signaalia, että nyt on, että kaikki on nyt tullut sisään ja...
No, voisin se niinku vähän katsoa sitten, että porukan saa valot, mutta sitten sammuttaa, kun sammuttaa valot, niin sitä auttaa se hetki.
Niin, se on, niin, mä ajattelin, että mä oon sen verran takana piilossa, mutta tulee pieni intro, milloin mä en soita mitä Brilminsa.
No niin, ihan toimii hyvin. Ei tuu sitä, että jengi ottaisi sitä.
Niin. Mulla on kerran mitoitettu setti, se kestää 20
Stereo mulla on.
Sitä en tiedä, mä vähän epäilen.
Pitäänköhän tuli nimittäin ihan niinku kuulosti... Tuli... Mulla on monitori tapahtuessa.
Niin.
Toi vähän aikaa, niin nyt tulee jotain tulee.
Niin. No mä siitä tiesin, että nyt se on musta viikaa kun...
It's okay.
Maybe I should take a coffee now.
Can I get a water? Could you get me a water? So I don't become dehydrated.
You don't want to... that would be a show.
Can you open that? Guitar Kungfu.
Joo. Elikkä mä en oo sillain siihen se niinku...
Mutta se on kuitenkin merkki niinku... Se vaan Jarkko on väkkäri ovella.
Juuri se oli sama selittämä. Niin mä koodailen sulle ja mä koodailen Tumpille ja sit me himmelletään salivalot ja sä laitat
mä vedän, antaako se intro mennäkään siihen lavavalotkin pimeinä?
Vois olla.
Joo.
Mulla on se laserin, se siellä ehkä vähän
päjää. Pidetään se.
Joo.
Pitäis aloitus puolelta. No mä näen kyllä sit.
Joo, puolelta
Joo.
Ready. What's that all about?
That's a thing you should wear around your neck.
I'm not Flavor Flav.
You're not? You look
No.
just like him.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Always.
Are you ready to rock?
I was born ready.